Take over the Wi-Fi or just not?
I could not get it to work, so I am dialed into my phone's hotspot.
It's not working.
I know. Is that?
I didn't know
Are
if
you
would
over
realize. No, I was just sitting there. I was just sitting there and I went up. It's like, oh, this isn't working.
No, it's not. But I will not need to turn
Oh,
it.
I didn't want you to find out my surprise.
Oh, no, I'm live.
You're what? Okay.
Are you ready?
No, no, the radio Wi-Fi did not work.
I even tried there's another one that's not this one. That was sitting there that's unlocked, and I couldn't get on it either. It just-
This is normally okay. It's just
Trust me, it's me. I'm big.
your stuff.
Absolutely.
Hello, hello. Let's start getting to our seats. At 7 o'clock. We're going to start promptly. Thank you all for coming. We will stand up first and do the pledge of allegiance to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag. States of America. To the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All meeting the board. And a lot of you do or do not know Hope Carmichael. She's the attorney to the COA. She has checked to make sure we have a quorum here tonight. Thank you. Now, to present everybody that's currently on the board, we'll start right here with this gentleman. John Moore.
Stand up so we can see you.
John Moore. Chris Rojas. Aaron Ellington.
Wes Pendleton. If I'm smiling, you know why. We have a win today.
Michael Foster. Bob Grudy. Kevin Holcomb.
First, thank you all for coming. I want to do a special thank you tonight for volunteers that have been with us for quite a while now. Rhonda will be leaving us after the night. She's given countless hours of her time to be the secretary of this organization. And it is a lot of work. I mean, you're held accountable for what you put on paper. There's plenty of people willing to call you to task if you have anything wrong at all. She smiles through it, says whatever, and has done it for a long time, and we thank you very much. Kevin is also departing us, and we thank you for countless hours of mingling the numbers, trying to make them work. If you can make a budget work, that's something I've never been able to accomplish in my life. So thank you, Kevin. I know it's a lot of work. I want to thank one other group of people in this community that get very little recognition, is the volunteers, and there are a lot of them. And I'm sure you could not tell us who is on most of the committees that we have, and there's a lot of committees. How many committees are there, Jennifer? All the committees that about volunteers. 10 or 15, okay. Well, anyways, the waterfront committee, the dock committee, the PCC, just goes on and on. Stormwater, roads, streets, safety and security, animal control. I want to say adjudicatory panel. Covenant enforcement, okay. Anyway, there's a lot of people get a lot of time here. I think that the POA ought to, in the coming year, do some form of annual recognition for people who have volunteered for long periods of time. Some that would immediately come to mind are like Ray Rasmus, if y'all familiar with him. It's like having a full-time surveyor that works for us. This is, get donated lots of hours of his time. Walt Littleton, he's on several committees, always helping out, everything he does. There's a lot of people like this in the community. We owe a lot to them. How many times do you go down Broadford Road and see the gentleman with white hair there, constantly picking up the trash along the road that other people put there? All volunteer. I know I've seen you do it 100 hours since I lived here. So, and tonight we're going to recognize one of them. We're going to recognize a fellow that I've known for over half a century. He was my roommate in college, so I've seen him at his best and at his worst. I convinced him to move here, which that's why I'm doing the recognition thing tonight, because he hasn't forgiven me for moving him into all this stuff here. But anyway, he's been on the stormwater committee. I can tell you, when he worked for the state of North Carolina, he was head of it for the whole state. If you do a good job in your career in that department, you will receive the lifetime Steve Steinbeck Award, which is named for him. He has given his time to our community here as well as volunteer. I do know when they were building the clubhouse, they came back with a statement from the people that were inspecting everything that they would need tons of fill and all kinds of extra foundation work. Steve said, no, I know this area well. I've been surveying out here and doing testing here for about 50 years. That's not right. And so he went out and tested himself and came back and said, you're right. And it saved us $400,000 right there. So we owe him a lot of gratitude, and we wanted to give him our POA Hall of Fame Award here tonight. So Steve, come on.
I always say give back to the community. That's the way my family raised me from the time I was a little kid. So whether it be Boy Scouts or your town or your club or your profession, always give back. Well, paraphrase an old politician back when I was in the 8th or 9th grade. It's not what you can give, what your community will do for you. Ask what you can do for your community. This community lives by volunteers. Every town in this state has to have hundreds of volunteers to make it all work. And those committees have to work together. We've had to make a lot of tough decisions. And we don't have an unlimited budget, so those are the challenges. But it's been a few good years that I've enjoyed, and it's time for me to retire. Thank you.
And Jennifer, do you want to introduce the staff this year? A lot of people do not know who they're talking with on the phone.
It is my pleasure to introduce Kathleen Buich, who is the community coordinator. To meet our presentation specialist. State Orton, who is on our GM Bertoni, is the leader kitchen manager. I'm still following that. Introduces my new boss. This is Peter Ferrone, and he's trying to hide back there.
We'll keep moving right along. You know, I was telling somebody the other day when they were saying, well, what was the experience like for you being on the board there? I said, the only thing I could think of that's similar to it is perhaps being on the peacekeeping force in the Gaza Strip. Both sides trying to kill you. So I guess we will go ahead and turn this over to Hope, who is going to be our parliamentarian tonight. She'll also announce the winners of the election, God bless them, and carry us through to the end of this.
Thank you, Les. And so first, I am Hope Carmichael. So sorry I didn't stand up earlier. Nice to be with you again. For the approval of your 2024 minutes, those of you who voted online know that that was on the ballot to be approved this year. There were, sorry, this is really small, 1,374 votes cast for the approval of the minutes, 1,042 in favor, 322 against. The minutes are approved by a majority vote. So thank you for voting. Last week, the board reports tonight, I believe, was it Mike Foster, or who was going to give?
We have
Oh.
everyone's going tonight. Larry wants to do the report on it.
I'm going to start at that end of the table, John, with you. So just pass the mic to the next one, Dave.
Tonight, I'm just going to give you a little information on what's going on with our roads and streets. Right now, we're paving 11 holes on the golf course. Holes 1 through 3, 5, 6, 10, 11, 13, and 18. There were three culverts out there that we were going to put under the golf carts, but unfortunately, the old culverts are collapsing, and we're not going to do that. We're going to spread that over the next couple of years. We did one culvert over on hole 18, all the way across the course. Right now, the Rosa Street is also working actively with to identify all the potholes and various things on the roads that need repair. We're trying to break it up into whose responsibility it is, whether it's the POA's responsibility, CWS, or the fiber company, to see who needs to spend that in repair those. That's a full assessment of all the streets in the POA. We're also looking at all the road edges and surveying them for where they need attention. This is going to be a multi-year project to fill in all those edges and recycle all those. We're also looking at the main gate, at the drainage system there, the aprons, and the curbing repairs there. Looking at the swales along there too, and continuing that to the harbor. Additionally, out on the Gunnersville Peninsula, there's a stormwater project that's been going for months, where the CWS is replacing the buried sewer line out there. And they've been working on that for 6 months now. So, or more. So, we're also looking at the Gunnersville Peninsula for replacement of 7 stormwater structures out there. The Stormwater Committee is also looking at bridges over the swales. They're coming up with a process of permitting the bridging of the swales and the requirements to do that. Right now, if they come across the swales that are blocking the flow, they're removing those bridges. And in order to rebuild the bridge, you'll need to get approval. And that should be released very shortly. And any of the existing bridges that we're not interfering with these swales. They're going to grandfather those in. You will need to put in a permit request for those. Also along the T chair, they're currently doing a resurfacing or regrading of that whole area up there, which is coming along really nicely. So they're working on all sorts of different other erosion control techniques to get the flow better through here. One of the ones they did was for the trees that are along the Broad Creek there on the golf course. They put a small swale that runs down to the pond that will take the flow from going into the Broad Creek swale and reverse it into the pond. That's going to keep the water from going across and backing up and causing those homes flooding. So, and just so everybody knows that the stormwater structure here is designed to handle 2 inches of rain in 48 hours. So when we get these downpours that are 5 inches in a day, we're in trouble. So anyway, that's what we're looking at right now. So if you have any questions about any of that, always feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to try to get you answers for that.
All right, my name is Larry Mason. I want to give you an overview of the RFID project. And I will not bore you with all the details. It's a long thing. Actually, the contract was signed about a year ago last week. And then after the contract was signed, there was planning had started and begun on where they were going to put each reader and all the gates were going to go and how everything was going to be managed. And where the camera locations would be for the license plate recognition cameras. I was appointed to the board in August, so I wasn't here for the other part. After I came to the board, my task was to make this work implemented. And that's what I've been working on since I got here. Along with the safety committee, one of the things we determined was that we needed to implement this in phases. We wanted to have the least amount of disruption to Fairfield that we could. It's a massive project. I'm going to give you some stats. We had to work with different partners. We worked with we worked with RUG, At that time, we were working with West Creek Marina. We got our long-range readers installed, the ones that read the stickers on your windshield, and they got installed on the Shoreline Harbor Gate. Then we later, about a month later, got it installed on Barkington Gate. So it was a little time sensitive trying to get all that done. And so we decided that was the best step for the first step, was to get our sticker operation. We began selling windshield stickers. And if you remember, we were out in the parking lot in cold weather last year, trying to get those things sold, and we sold a bunch of them. Okay. Then we started installing the short range. We got those installed on the main gate and the Harbor Point gate. And then we began selling cards. The keypads were removed from the Harbor Point gate. That had to be done because the reader used the same wires that the keypad used. So we had to do away with that. It took a little longer to get the keypad out on Bartlett. That was the last one we did, and it's now installed. So the good news is all of our gate access is now in place. Okay. We began supporting phone apps with guest access. That's been a large project because there was a lot of education in it, and we're still struggling with that. We're trying to do a better job. Every time somebody calls and needs help in how to do it, we try to accommodate. The video intercoms are working, and now we have cameras on Barkentine and Harborside that are viewable from the guard shop. The guards can talk to the folks that are coming in. And of course, because we have our RFID, does not mean that the guards are going away. It doesn't mean that you can't come in the way we've always come in, or the way that guests have always arrived. You can always call and check somebody in. Okay. Recently, I would say about a month ago, the LPR license plate recognition camera contract was signed. The good news is they are now ordered, and I think they have them in-house. And our DVR, the digital video recorder, the devices to record all the video for the license plates, it is now installed. And so within 30 days, we'll have all of that. Okay. So some quick stats to tell you about how big this project is. Since it began, we've created 2,400 user accounts. Since it began, we've installed or sold 3,100 windshield stickers. We've sold over 1,000 cards. And the phone app is available to all folks that have a user account. And it's not a requirement to purchase anything to be able to get a user account. Just let me know that you can join. Over 600 phone apps have been created and installed. And that's about it. I want to thank everybody at Fairfield for the patience. It's been a growing pain for us and a learning process, but we're trying to make it as streamlined as we can. I want to thank the POA staff. They've helped tremendously. The safety committee and other volunteers that just came in and volunteered to help make this project a success. The gate access is mostly complete. We're still working to smooth out a few problems. And we do know we've got a couple, but we're working on those as we go. Next year, that's this past year. And the next year, what we'll be doing is adding indoor controls. And it will be using the same RFID cards, credentials that you have. And instead of having to check out keys, the doors will then be, you'll be able to open doors and check out rooms and buildings just by your card. And all of this was done to enhance safety and increase the convenience. If anybody has any questions, please direct them to me. My email, my information is on front step. I'll be happy to respond to everyone. Thank you.
Good evening. Good to see you all here tonight. I have a report on the marinas that were replaced. The best information I read about that was reading the 2024 minutes. It's covered really concisely in there, and it will explain it to you. The other portion is the seawall inside Fairfield Harbor. That's community property. That's all being replaced with vinyl. There's 3,600 feet there. We've got about 1,000 feet finished, so it's a multi-year project, and we'll carry over for a couple of years. So that's going to be a big improvement. There were a few places that we didn't do and did a jump because there were some collapses. and we want to address those, so we'll continue to send sanitation into the harbor. Beyond that, the docks are replaced. There's 24 over Fairyland, there's 24 over in front of the harbor club. They look great. They're pretty full, not completely. Harbor club itself is about, Bill tells me it's about 80% complete. I did it through a walkthrough with them again the other day. You can see all the improvements are going on the outside. There's a lot of it done on the inside. It's going to look great. The other portion of that, kind of off the train, sounds like the harbor club is coming along nicely. I talked to Bill about the possibility of having supply issues with supply chains, and he's pretty confident that we're not going to have the issues. So the timing on it should be late October is the kind of target time, and we'll see as everything comes together. Got it? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm not going to reiterate the 2024 financials. They were sent out and distributed to a weekly update a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not going to reiterate other than say that it was a very, very difficult year. As an example, we were down $134,000 in our restaurant income. 30,000 of that's attributed to the closure we had in November for the plumbing issues that we had. But it was a very difficult year. We recognized early that we were not getting the revenue streams in, and working with Jennifer and her staff, we cut back expenses, a lot. So when you look at trends from previous years, in 2024, you will be able to see the operational expenses have gone down a lot. And so that's going to be enough. But we came out 33,000 over expended in our earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, which is really good. However, our full net income was positive by $164,000. We're now working in fiscal year 25, and I just want to say that, we lost Cindy from our office, who was our accounts payable person. We lost our regional manager, Patroon, and we also lost our senior accountant. Because of the way we do all the allocations and for each. $50,000. That's up about $178,000. Our expenses are $524,000, up about $8,700 from last year. Our EBITDA number was $533,000. 2024 was $364,000. All right, so we were up about $169,000 there. All right, but the net income was, like I said, about $164,000. No, we're up about $169,000. All right, golf. Income was about $127,600. It's down roughly about $3,000 to $4,000 from last year. Our expenses are $190,000, up $25,000 from last year. However, the big item is an allocation of the true management fee. True management fee runs about $250,000 a year, and we allocate those portions out to the golf course as well as to the POA. That's an item that we're going to have to check on, along with other items. Again, like I said, we had a brand new financial team and stuff, and there's a learning curve, so there's going to be some investigation and research that needs to be done, so we can make sure that we get those numbers into the right places. All right, the point, gross income, $59,300, up $11,482 from last year. Expenses, $46,900. Okay, down about 23,800 from last year. As of today, all right, we're up roughly about $35,000. Okay, in the restaurant. As I mentioned, our gross income is up $178,000. The big part of that, and this is, also has to be investigated, is that the POA dues is up $144,000. That needs to be investigated because we did not raise the dues. All right, so we have to investigate to see where that came in. That could also be an accrual process. The way it is we take what we collected and we spread it out over 12 months. However, we don't post that just as a one-time revenue source in one particular or two particular months. Otherwise, our green fees and cart fees are up about 14,000, and our expenses are up about 8,700. All right, so we're pretty much on the same target. Shows a little bit better, like I said, in the restaurant. There's some investigations of the numbers that have to be looked at, but I'm confident that, you know, we're either at or will be doing better than we did in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kevin, I wanted to mention to you, Suzanne had told me earlier in the week that we thought we may overpay our dues this year by $144,000. You could get that back to us. Okay, and now Hope, who has been with us many, many years, and does this better than anybody I know, and we're very thankful to have her on our side. So Carmine.
Thank you, Les. I do want to correct for the minutes, because this writing is really tiny, my mental math. The numbers were correct on the minutes, of 1,000, I gotta look at it again real close, 1,042 in favor, 322 against, but my mental math, upped it by 10, so 1,364, not 374 votes received. But just to correct that for the minutes, let me go back to the agenda. All right, it is now time to announce the election results. As many of you know, and as was announced, the election results are distributed and Vote HOA Now as your electronic vote provider, and most of the balloting was by electronic vote. Again, 1,364 ballots, electronic ballots received. There were 18 paper ballots received. The electronic votes are transmitted by Vote HOA Now to your CPA, Eric Bregman of Fermi and Company. And the paper ballots are returned directly to Fermi and Company, so they never go into anyone's hands other than those of the CPA. The CPA firm has certified the results, and those don't go into anyone's hands other than mine. So I am here to announce those results to you. Of the 1,364 votes received, with the 18 paper ballots, the total votes by candidate: Les Fawcett, 765 votes; Wayne Anderson, 761 votes; Neil Watts, 575 votes; Debbie Harris, 515 votes; Robert Martin, 132 votes. Your new directors are Lee Fawcett, Wayne Anderson. We call the meeting to order. We need to install, we need to call the meeting to order. We're going to install the new directors and Rhonda Miller as the secretary. Lee and Wayne, are you here? Oh, okay. If you will step forward to take the oath of office.
I further agree to exercise my obligations and fiduciary responsibility.
I heard that, so hopefully you all heard that. Thank you, gentlemen, for reading that. Go back to the agenda. I now will entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor of adjournment, signify by raising your hands. All opposed? Thank you. The board has asked, we are going to dispense with the Q&A session for tonight, given everything that's going on in the community, and allow the new board to plan a town hall or some other venue where questions and answers can be posed to the newly installed board. So thank you so much for coming, and have a good night.
Thank you, Lois.
Yeah. I'm leaving. Okay. I'm going to put the wording. Now, I got a letter today. Yes, I did. I don't know what. You have I already know that, so don't worry. Well, I hear a lot. I'll take it. I just got a letter today that she cannot go to the golf park. You know, there's a guy that never comes up. I mean, relax. A switch.